A Chinese car company just did something in a single year that the entire global auto industry said was impossible. They broke the charging speed record, unveiled their own semiconductor chip that rivals NVIDIA, and put LiDAR on a $10,000 car, and quietly overtook Tesla in annual pure electric vehicle sales, all while others were still arguing about price points. The most unsettling part? The company that pulled all of this off in the span of 12 months had already warned the world it was coming. Chairman Wang Chuanfu told investors in late 2025 that his company's technological lead was not strong enough. Nobody on the outside took that seriously enough. They should have, because what BYD dropped in March did not just move the goalposts, it moved the entire field. If this story interests you, hit the like button now. It helps the channel keep going. What we are getting into today covers three separate announcements that each independently would have been the biggest EV story of the year. A company that started in a battery factory in Shenzhen 30 years ago is now rewriting what a car is and what it can do. Let us get into exactly what they announced, why it matters, and what it means for the car you are going to buy next. To understand March 5th, 2026, you need to go back where this company actually came from, because BYD is not and has never been just a car company. That framing misses everything that makes them dangerous. Wang Chuanfu founded BYD in 1995 with a chemistry degree, reverse engineering Japanese battery technology at a fraction of the cost. That obsessive approach to cost engineering through mastery, rather than compromise, would become the philosophical foundation of everything BYD has done since. By 2002, they were the #1 lithium-ion battery supplier on the planet. They were the beating heart of the global industry. They were building the core chemistry and manufacturing infrastructure that would eventually power the entire EV revolution. The car business arrived in 2003 when BYD quietly acquired a struggling Chinese automaker. No big press conference, no flashy announcement. They just bought a manufacturer, learned the car business from the inside, and kept building. Then in 2008, Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway put $232 million into BYD when others saw it as just a curiosity. Buffett saw a company that did not just make cars. They made everything that goes inside a car, and that single structural fact is the foundation of every announcement BYD has made in 2026. The weapon that makes all of it possible is vertical integration. While others wait for suppliers, BYD calls their own divisions. During the chip shortage, Ford and GM had to shut down lines. BYD just called their own chip division. They make almost everything in-house. Building this properly takes at least a decade. Once you have it, competitors need another decade just to start catching up. That structural advantage is what made March 5th, 2026 possible. BYD put two things on the table that stopped the industry cold. The first was the Blade Battery 2.0, the second was flash charging. The numbers were so extreme you'd assume they were typos. To understand why that number is so significant, think about the single biggest psychological barrier between car buyers and EVs. It is not the price anymore for a growing portion of the market, it is the weight. 5 minutes does not shrink that barrier, it virtually eliminates it. The system runs at 1,000 volts. That's more than double the fastest US chargers. Tesla's latest supports 250 kilowatts. BYD delivers 6 times that. And they aren't just building cars, they are building the infrastructure. 20,000 flash charging stations are planned across China. The second generation Blade battery that powers all of this is itself a fundamental rethink. The original Blade battery, launched in 2020, eliminated the module layer that conventional battery packs use, sliding cells directly into the pack like blades in a drawer. That one structural change made it 50% more space efficient and dramatically simplified manufacturing. It also passed the nail penetration test, where you drive a steel nail straight through a fully charged pack without fire, smoke, or thermal runaway. Something that made global headlines because competing battery formats had not consistently achieved it. A new electrolyte formulation enables what BYD calls a flash flow ion transport system that reduces internal resistance by 50% and heat generation by 50% under high-rate charging. The result is energy density roughly 40% higher than the first generation's long format, enabling CLTC ranges exceeding 1,000 kilometers in select models. The Denza Z9 GT, BYD's luxury performance sedan, now delivers 1,036 kilometers on a single charge. That is 644 miles in a production car that you can buy today. And BYD proved something that no other manufacturer has publicly demonstrated. They simultaneously ran the nail penetration test and full flash charging, the worst case scenario for battery thermal stability, and produced no thermal runaway, no smoke, and no fire, even after 500 rapid charge cycles. Every owner of a current generation EV in a cold climate knows the problem. Cold temperatures slow ion movement in batteries. BYD's Blade Battery 2.0 at minus 30 degrees charges from 20% to 97% in 12 minutes. 12 minutes. That is a different category of performance. The scale is staggering. In 2025, BYD moved 4.6 million vehicles globally, surpassing Tesla by over 600,000 units. While Western giants are bleeding billions in their EV divisions, BYD is posting $116 billion in revenue and reinvesting $14 billion in R&D. Wang Chuanfu stood in front of an audience in Shenzhen and unveiled the Xuanji A3, China's first automotive-grade 4-nanometer chip for autonomous driving systems. For reference, a nanometer is 1/1000th of a meter. It delivers enough computing power to support level 4 autonomous driving. And it's not a prototype, it's in mass production today. The cost is the shocker. Analysts estimate it costs 1/3 of an equivalent NVIDIA system. 1/3. Let that sink in. BYD put LiDAR on a $10,300 car. The Seagull is the first in its class to feature technology once reserved for $50,000 luxury vehicles. The full God's Eye driver assistance system is now available on every model. They're even offering insurance coverage for it. And at this year's Goodwood Festival of Speed in June 2026, BYD Group brought 8 new model debuts across 3 brands, including the global reveal of the Denza Z Coupe, a 3-motor all-electric Grand Tourer with a 217 miles per hour top speed. The performance brand Yangwang presented the U9 Extreme, which Goodwood has described as the world's fastest production car. A company that started making nickel-cadmium batteries in a small factory 30 years ago is now presenting the world's fastest car at one of the most prestigious automotive events in Europe. What does this mean for you? 9-minute charging in Shenzhen becomes the benchmark for buyers in Dallas and Stuttgart. Competition forces response. Ford and GM are cutting prices specifically because Chinese competition made those economics impossible to ignore. LiDAR on a $10,300 car today means LiDAR as a standard feature on $25,000 cars within a few years. Not because anyone is being generous, because BYD demonstrated the economics and everyone else has to follow or explain why they are charging more for less. The tariff wall is real, and it is giving American automakers time. That time is genuinely valuable. GM spent the equivalent of $35 billion on EV development leading into 2025. And still cannot match BYD's battery cost structure. They have solved the impossible triangle: fast charging, long range, and high safety simultaneously. Constraints are just engineering problems. Whatever you think about trade policy, this is a story worth attention. Drop a comment and let me know which announcement hit you hardest. Subscribe for the real engineering and business stories behind the vehicles in your driveway. No filler, just the story.